What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Sal in the building right now. It is a beautiful Monday, and I hope it is wherever you are. I want to thank you for joining me in the building today. I want to thank you for being a part of this. Shout out to all the people slowly coming into the chat room. Yes, indeed. Today I want to talk about where the market is going and what looks like the never-ending drama that is our stock market. Ladies and gentlemen, the president now has to release his tax returns. China has said no to the United States in terms of a China deal. Where do we go next? Where do we go next, ladies and gentlemen? So today, for just a few minutes, I always say that, and then I end up going 2 damn hours. Shout out to T. Kelly. What's going on? I always end up going a lot longer. We're just going to discuss where the market could be headed in general. But more importantly, what stocks you guys are trading over the next week and a half. I know most people who should be in here are probably at work. Yes, indeed. XLF is on my screen right now. Hold on. Shout out to all the people in the building. Let me turn my music off. God damn. I'm almost acting like I forgot how to do this. Yes, indeed. One second, guys. God damn, what the fuck? Hold on, people, man. Oh, what the fuck, man? Okay. Yo, dude, my music wouldn't go off, man. Shit. Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm live. I am live, and that's what it is. That's what technology does sometimes, guys. Shout out to the people again who, for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys don't have a 9 to 5 or what, but you're joining me in the chat right now. I appreciate it. Sometime next week, I'll be back in the evenings. So more people can catch me. I know some people were like, damn, I'm working during the day. I can't see you live. But I got to knock this out because I got some things to do, which is to record the Simple Trading Method course. That should be done by the end of this week. Should be done by the end of this week. All right. And right now, I think I've set on the price of $99 because we're at like 4.5, 5 hours. It's going to walk you literally from, what broker to choose to setting up the trade and all that. So with that being said, let's get into it, man. What are you guys trading? I just posted on Twitter a short that I'm taking on XLF for December. And look, I know most of you guys are obsessed with the day trade, obsessed with the weekly trade, but I'm telling you, man, you got to learn to love these trades that take a little bit longer to develop because they're just so much more accurate. And I've fallen in love with that accuracy, and that's why most of my trades now take anywhere between 30 to 60 to 90 days. Am I ever going to go back to 4 or 5 days a week again? Whew, that was hard to do, man. That was a lot of sacrifice for my family and stuff like that. So possibly I can see that happening again, especially now that my daughter is a little older. And I definitely do have the ability to do something like that now again. It's just that do I have the energy, to do something like that again? Trump really needed China deal. Absolutely. Trump needed the China deal And again, the news dropped last night along with the bull crap about Turkey, but uh, it's really just sad to see what's happened with the China deal situation, because we went into China deal, or he went into the China deal thinking that we had all the leverage, and now come to find out, we've been losing that leverage every step of the way. And now, if you look at the China deal situation, I would say that China has the upper hand now. China has the upper hand now when we talk about China deal. Their economy, for the most part, yes, has slowed down, but it's showing now to be leveling out and not necessarily getting worse. And they're looking at the situation where, like, well, I think we can deal with this. I think we can deal with this. And it's sad now to see what we've done, where we've had to give $30 billion in welfare to farmers, right? $30 billion in welfare to farmers just to keep them going while we negotiate this deal. So we're just going into massive amounts of debt over the last, 30, 60 days, dealing with China deal, along with the repo situations that have been going on in the middle of the night. I mean, it's been horrible. It's been absolutely horrible what's been going on. And let me tell you guys something right now. The price of gold, the price of silver, the price of a lot of these risk-off assets are severely underpriced in comparison to risk on table right now. In comparison to some of the risk that's on the table right now, man. I think gold is still incredibly cheap. I think, real estate for the most part is still very, very cheap in terms of, when I say real estate, I mean these companies that are paying really good dividends and got their little rental properties and doing really well. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about the individual, like, kind of homes. I'm talking about those, what's the word for it? REITs? There we go. REITs. I think those are underpriced. So Mr. JRH says China's timeline is a lot longer than the U.S. can go. I believe it. I believe it. These Chinese people, they think in terms of, my children's children. Americans don't think like that. We're very self-centered people, and we think mostly what is this decision going to do for me? We don't think about what it's going to do for our children, because 90% of the things we do wouldn't have taken place, right? Definitely wouldn't have gone into Iraq, wouldn't have gone to Libya or Afghanistan. We don't think about that. That's kind of why we're in the situation we're in right now. So good looking out by Mr. JRH. He's absolutely right on that. Absolutely right on that. Gold actually started the day below 1,500. We're back above 1,500 and settling in there. Boy, that 1455, 1460 was a real good deal last week. I stared at that, almost for an hour and didn't jump on it. Should have. Definitely should have. I had a bear call spread I posted on Twitter as well. I was down like 600, and then with today's move, up now $60. It's just amazing what non-directional trading can do when it levels out. And now here we have the market here slowly inching its way out of the red from this morning. Again, traders really ignoring that risk on, risk off situation here, where we opened the day down, found the low, and now we're rallying higher. We're rallying higher here because everybody's, again, thinking about Fed cuts and stuff like that, because that's what the algos do. They overbuy and they oversell. And people really understand that the dip buy is always, and has been for a long time, the way to play the markets. And people are still continuing to play it. And they did it this morning, and it worked out for them. So, but when you look at the chart, a couple weeks ago I did this, and I looked at the weekly, and you look at, these last 2 years or so, and you find that, we haven't really gone anywhere. I mean, you 90%, right, over the last 2.5 years. 90% of all the action has been between 252 and 300. Literally $50 up and down. $50 up and down. So, I mean, if you're somebody who's been in the markets for the last 10 years, right? Because, you got people around you who got you into the markets early because you were surrounded by that kind of education. You know better than anyone that over the last 2.5, 3 years, you haven't really made any money. You haven't really made any money. And again, I'm talking to the long-term risks trader who's just kind of putting money into an account month after month after month, or paycheck after paycheck. And that's the majority of Americans, are either through a 401k or an ETF or an index-based fund. Pretty much all tankers in the Persian Gulf are rallying. Absolutely. Let's take a look at crude, WTI. Let me see here. Oil mini futures. Where's U.S. oil right now? Okay. And that's another way to play sideways market too, is betting on crude in a $10 wide spread. Typically about $60, $65 is where it starts to affect the market, 65 and up. That's where you start to get a slowdown and risk effect on the indexes. But for the most part, below $60, most of these companies, again, have contracts to buy crude at these prices for months on end. So even a quick move higher doesn't affect them, at least in the short term. But it could, generate price sensitivity. For consumers. Cord Cutter Lifestyle, appreciate you. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just watching the markets here. Other than that, man, it's a very boring, slow day. Not too much going on. I see Apple here rallying a little bit, which is pushing the indexes higher. Again, Apple being almost 3% of the SPY, because that's what ETFs do. Again, they all pile up into, 10 or 15 stocks that everybody else is into, right? And then that's kind of where they find their moves. And Apple rallying these last couple of days because iPhone 11 supposedly is selling better than expected. Again, that's thanks to China. Apple makes more money in China than they do in the United States. Nobody talks about that, though. GM sells more cars in China than they do in the United States. Nobody talks about that. But if you read their financials, they'll tell you that they do better in China than they're doing here. Yes, indeed. Shout out to my boy O'Shea. He had me on his show yesterday. Good channel to be on, O'Shea Vlogcast. This is a nice little place to be able to go there and unwind and relax, because his fan base isn't so, not so as stiff, so you can go out there and just wild out. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Appreciate him for having me. So just put a ticker in the chat room if you're trading anything right now. Again, I know most of you guys are at work doing what you got to do. Netflix, enjoying a little bounce here. Let's talk about Roku. Back at 105. It actually dipped below 100. Now at 105. Could more than likely go lower. Disney Channel banning Netflix from advertising on any of Disney's online as well as digital streaming digital properties. Definitely going to hinder that business. When we look at, man, again, gold, whether it be JNUG, GDX, all those are underpriced right now. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're under the age of like 50 and you're listening to my voice right now, you're under the age of 50. You got to understand that you probably got, if you're 50, you probably more than have another 50 years to live, based on the advances in technology and healthcare. And you more than likely, overwhelmingly more than likely, have over another 50 years to live. And in that 50 years, I think gold could quadruple in value if debt levels continue to grow the way they're growing right now. They won't be able to keep a lid on the price of gold. They won't be able to keep a lid on it. Bitcoin will go up in value, all that. Even though I hate Bitcoin, hate the idea of it. I think the people behind Bitcoin are some slimy ass people. I think it's just been another way to arbitrage wealth from poor people to rich, educated people. But the idea that it's a limited amount and it has that I don't know what it's called, but the fact that you do have a group of people in this world that do feel like it has some value, in the next several years it will grow in value as the dollar starts to really deteriorate in value. Appreciate you, Marvan Less. Let's take a look at PNG. Yeah, I saw them moving heavy last week. PNG has just been an incredible stock. PNG. I mean, this has just been, a stock that was going nowhere, and all of a sudden it's just rallying hard. Who keeps calling me from the 610? I'm gonna talk to them later. But P&G had been going really hard. $123 now. P&G. That's a consumer staples product. That actually might be able to survive the recession, being that, they sell some products we all need. In particular, they also have significant amount of exposure into health as well. Yeah, money is money, man. And Bitcoin, Bitcoin is again, people see it as money, bro. So, Bitcoin is going to find its floor eventually here, hopefully. Every time you think it settles down and starts to make a big move, either down or up, I'm just like, man, if this thing don't find a damn price, I thought it was really settled in there at the tens, at 10,000, and then you 2 weeks ago you had that big move lower, and then there's this Alexio guy also here on YouTube. He's talking about Bitcoin going down to 3,000. I'm like, damn. But Bitcoin is going to have its time again. I definitely believe that. I mean, you see that in penny stocks as well, when a stock that's huge runner goes out of style, and then all of a sudden it comes back. So I think Bitcoin is that thing that will come back eventually. Will come back eventually, but I can't put a date on that. Starbucks. Okay. Starbucks here looks like it sold off recently from its August highs. Starbucks on the weekly that we're looking at right now. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what's going on here with Starbucks. All right, last couple of days have not been so bad. Starbucks looking for some support here in the 80s. Yeah, it's manipulation, but I got to get the money, get in, out, play the game. Absolutely. Yeah, and if you can figure out how to make that work in Bitcoin, and hey, congrats to you, because I know it's not easy. Is is Coinbase's platform still the best way to trade it, Chris? That I forgot what it's called, GD something. Is it GDX or something like that? I know they have a trading platform that offers incredible amount of liquidity. Last time I looked at it. Yeah. So, my take on the markets is that, again, we're not going to be going very far. Uh, I do, as I mentioned in my VIX video, ironically, I put that out 2 days before the market sold off 800 points. That was perfect timing on that VIX video. There were some people who didn't believe me, and then they came back into the comments like, "Damn, man, you were right." But anyway, um, I still think we move higher, but slowly, and that's basically what we're doing, right? I mean, we're going to stay, in my opinion, between 3050, and I'm talking SPX here, or if you're talking SPY, 305, between 290 and 305. I think we can stay in that range for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year. There's really nothing popping off like that out here. Really, there's nothing popping off like that out here. If you go on one of my favorite data sites, and I have this in my course, I go over this website, tradingeconomics.com, where it breaks down all the economic data coming out. We're seeing people leaving the workplace. I don't know if the government is not adding up the jobs that we're actually creating properly or not, but we're seeing a large amount of people who are just like, all right, I'm just not going to be participating at all in the workforce. Workforce participation is going down. And that's hard to explain when you're supposedly putting out incredible job numbers. So where are these people going to? Are they like, they're not retiring? Well, where are they going? Nobody really understands. Somebody saying Coinbase is a ripoff. What makes you say Coinbase is a ripoff? Is it the fees? Somebody saying Coinbase is a ripoff. I'm thinking it's the fees. Yeah. It's manipulation. Okay. Let's see here. This is the SPY. Again, I'm going to have a video out on that trade later on today. We're going to have a trade out for that. And see what the response is going to be. Because I know you guys have seen, it seems to be like you guys like those kind of shorter videos where I just put out a trade. Shout out to everybody who jumped on that Beyond Meat trade. Again, as I said last week, most of you guys have closed the trade for 30-40%. If you're going to actually hold it all the way until the 12th, you can, right? Because we took the $100, well, I hope you took the $100 put side of the trade, which gave you more than enough room to enjoy the whole month of volatility. Beyond Meat, again, we took 110 put I took the 205 call. I had a feeling that McDonald's news was going to come out. I just thought the move for the McDonald's was going to be a lot bigger, but it wasn't big enough because it was in Canada. It wasn't U.S. side. If it was U.S. side, if they came out and said, hey, we're trying Beyond Meat in the U.S., we'd be at Beyond Meat 180, 185 by now. But it didn't get to that point, and that's fine. But shout out to the guys who jumped on the Beyond Meat Iron Condor, because I figured Beyond Meat wasn't going to go anywhere until the lockout period was over. After the lockout period, this thing is going to drop like a damn rock. It's going to drop like a damn rock as everybody runs to get out of here in the 130s, 140s. We all know what's going on with these stocks that have been unable to really find a path of profitability. Peloton, Fiverr, Beyond Meat is going to be one of them. So you're going to see Beyond Meat and a lot of these other stocks go much, much lower. You know, much, much lower. Beyond Peloton bouncing here a little bit. 3% today. Yeah, but imagine you were someone that came in at the 28, 29 level. Actually, the highest was 28.09. You know, sold off almost $9 before now bouncing. We already know Fiverr was a joke coming out the gate. Almost down 50% from its IPO price. It said yes to fees. Okay, I figured that, Chris. I figured that was the case. Let me take a look at UPS, United Parcel Service. UPS doing much better than its not sister company, but sister in competition, FedEx, which has been suffering as of late. Trying to hold on there, FedEx, trying to hold on to those 140s. Again, I just posted my trade on XLF. Again, selling 28.27 out for basically the rest of the year. I'm going out until December. Because I think this is a snake that eventually breaks down below that purple line. But I'm looking forward to seeing what earnings for the financials have to say next week. If you guys don't know, Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, three of the biggest components of XLF, all present earnings for the third quarter next week. So it's an interesting trade that, if it doesn't work out right away, still gives me more than enough time to let it kind of marinate over the next 30, 60 days, if we just continue to get a sideways move. But I'm thinking a breakdown below 27 here, and will put me into some nice profit. What is a comfortable gain? At least 30%, Chris. At least 30%. Because at the end of the day, well, now, right, thankfully, we've gotten rid of commissions. For example, on TD Ameritrade today, if you guys are on TD, you should be trading for free starting today. E-Trade and many of those other ones as well. Schwab now completely free. So I'm really excited about that. We'll get into how they're making money now that it's free in just a moment. But 30% is where you should be trying to, at least, because that's where at least you're starting to kind of see the growth in your account. 30% is where you should really be at. In terms of taking, that's the minimum amount of profit you should really be looking to take. Because anything below that, and you're just kind of wasting your time. I said per day or weekly. Well, no, per position. I'm saying per position. Whatever, the minimum that whatever you think, because going into the trade, you should already have your idea of how much you're going to make, right? 30% of that is like your minimum you should be wanting to walk away with in that trade. But I mean, what your weekly or monthly percentage take should be, I mean, that I couldn't be able to dictate that because I don't know how that's really up in the air because you should have an idea of how much you want to make per month anyway. Um, and that's kind of up to you in terms of how much per day or weekly you want it, but per position, I'd say 30%. You know, but when we talk about how do we, as a brokerage, make money on guys who are now trading for free, they've all moved to the Robinhood way of trading, of making money and using brokerages, which is this. They're selling your data. They're selling your trades. See, for example, on Robinhood, they have a significant amount of traders who are losing traders. They're people who put their money in, and over the course of 90 days, they are more likely than other traders on the platform to get to 50% of whatever they deposited originally, right? So those are losing traders. So brokerage houses have figured out that they can sell that data to algo houses and other banks and trading floors to trade against you or to take the opposite side of your trade, right? So if I have 20% of the people on my platform who they lose damn near every time they trade, that's very valuable information that I can sell and make money off that. So now that the platform is free, I know you're going to trade a lot. I'm going to sell the opposite side of your trade. And if I'm an algo shop or I'm a trade house or an investment banking, I'm looking at that like, fuck trying to come up with a trade idea. I'm just going to trade against these losing traders because I know the opposite side of their trades are winning trades because they lose so much. I hope I haven't confused anyone. So the data that losing traders provide to brokerages is very, very valuable. Very, very valuable. These companies are now deciding that that's the way to make money is to sell your information. That's the new way to make money on the internet is data and data harvesting, data selling, and they've realized that there are a lot of traders out here who suck. And now you don't even have to come up with an idea of what so-and-so stock is going to do over 30 days. Just give me 1,000 traders, 90% of them who lose all the time, and let me just take the opposite side of their position. And you'll make money over and over and over and over again. And it's a valuable way, for them to make money. It's a valuable way for them to make money. Absolutely. And there are other ways they make money as well too. For example, if you're someone who is just constantly depositing week after week, month after month, sometimes they borrow against your account and they trade with it on their own as well. And so there are other ways as well, but that's now the new way to make big money. Yeah, somebody's saying they should have been did that. Well, that's what Robinhood did. Robinhood, because there wasn't really a market for. I don't know if there was a market for that before Robinhood. But that's how Robinhood makes money. They sell the trades of their losing traders and their winning traders too. I mean, if you're on Robinhood and you're killing it, please believe there are people who are on the backside following everything the hell you're doing. And copying you. And if you remember, for a while there were a couple offshoot companies like Covester, for example, where you can put your money into the platform And then, for example, Tim Sykes, he was like top of Covester. He was using that a lot as his little slogan. And people would be able to put money into the system, and Tim would not trade your money, but it would copy Tim's trades. How much is this data ideally? Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea, but I figure it's in the millions. I doubt it's something that somebody, like you and me can just go and ask for and buy. This is millions of dollars worth of information. Enough to keep a company like Robinhood going. You know, like, yeah, I figure it'd be, yeah, absolutely in the millions. I mean, think about it. If I know you lose 90% of your trades, or 70 or 80% of your trades are losing trades, and I know that means on the opposite side, it's a high probability taking the opposite side of your trade is winning. That's guaranteed cash. If you're on Reddit, check out Wall Street Bets. Okay, definitely do that. All right, let's keep it going. What else? I've been trying to check on housing stocks recently here. We still had some pretty decent housing numbers come out, which I was kind of surprised about. Because eventually the housing will slow down. But going back and reading, 2008 recession, yeah, housing data did kind of come in. It's a bit of a laggard in terms of not being able to really uh, kind of just drop. I mean, it just kind of is a slow little collapse that happens when it comes to housing data. Saying that it's going to be right, right away. It's going to be tomorrow. Like I said, I just think for the next couple months, couple years, the market's not going to go anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I say I don't see ourselves above 315, 320. I don't see it. And I'm young enough to be happy to say that, for those of you guys who are saying the recession is going to come here 2020, I don't give a fuck about 2020. I'm talking about 2025, 2026. You can't prevent that. You can't prevent that. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. We're going to be there for that, God willing. You know what I'm saying? We got the Federal Reserve again cutting interest rates possibly next month. Yeah, these people just they don't want to lose, man. They will do anything to prevent losing. That's what somebody said in the chat room, that China thinks, longer term than we do. We not thinking, man. We're not thinking. Jerome Powell, he was on the right track to begin with, raising interest rates, right? Putting that value back on the dollar. But these folks, the corporatocracy, they don't want to lose, man. They don't want to lose, and they're willing to sacrifice everything to make sure that they get those Christmas bonuses, and the market continues to remain inflated. And again, as you can see here, here's Home Depot. Again, looking for that trend line break. And that's going to be my sign on Home Depot to go all in, man. Once we get this trend line break, going back from November of 2018, as it's been using as support. I think it's, again, slowly working its way close. And once we get that break, that's when I feel like it's going to be a great opportunity to short this stock. All right. And you can see it. This is obviously, I'd have to push it closer for the weekly. But very, very similar situation. Are any African markets viable breakout yet? No, Jim. No, I don't think so. I tried to look into investing in what was going on there, particularly when I was there this summer. Shout out to Black Box. But it's the problem with investing in those kind of third world countries is that it's easy to put the money in, but it's hard to get the money out. See, when it comes time to selling your position, it's hard as fuck to get your money out, man. Now, if you're talking about maybe investing in third world countries through the U.S. stock exchange, even here as well, you face liquidity issues. You face liquidity issues, so you really can't day trade them. For example, one I had written about on my website before it was hacked was NGE. NGE, which is the Global X Nigeria ETF. This one, again, third world countries are going lower and lower and lower, but eventually, like I said, they will find some kind of low from which they'll be able to be a very, very lucrative opportunity for somebody to pick up, because I think these third world countries are moving into the moving thousands of people into the middle class, but we just don't hear about it in the States like we should. I think when you look at a lot of these West African nations and India and Laos and Vietnam, you're talking about like China 1995. You're talking about China 1995. So it's an opportunity for you to get in. And man, can you imagine getting a piece of China in 1995? Like, you're a fucking millionaire now. There were very, very few products to get you involved in China at that time. But the ones that were, boy, I mean, they made their investors a lot of money. I can't remember what's the oldest Chinese ETF. I had it memorized, but I can't remember now. Is it MCHI? I think it is it MC. It might be MCH. 2012. No, I think there's one older than 2012. I'm sure there's something else, but there's an ETF out there that was pretty early in China. Look at Ring Central. Yeah, Ring Central is pretty good. I mean, RNG, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's right. I used to use Ring Central, but then I moved to another platform called Line 2. But Ring Central, yeah, I mean, it's a great platform, man, that a lot of people on YouTube use for their call-in shows and stuff like that. It's if you're a small business, it's also a great way to be able to create that sense of professionalism using Ring Central, whether it be being able to have your business route to your phone, or giving yourself an 800 number in your home-based business, and you've got an 800 number, giving yourselves multiple 800 numbers for customer service and text. I mean, it's a really good service, really good service. So, um, shout out to Ring Central. I see that they're not profitable though, but they're going up. But I see for whatever reason they're not a profitable company. What's going on? Oh, okay, Avaya. It looks like they're potential JP Morgan with the upgrade. I don't trust JP Morgan for shit, but because they're the same guys who put on that Beyond Meat fiasco. Shout out to JP Morgan putting that together and getting people some money today. What's going on, David Lincoln? A lot of people are curious about how they make. Yeah, that's how they make it, man. That's how they make it. You sell the information from the winning and losing traders. And for the guys who just keep their money stacked over there, you borrow against their accounts and you trade with it. All right. Who else is going up higher today? I was looking at McDonald's earlier. The Golden Arches. I don't know. Understand why McDonald's keep going up. I don't know why people keep going to McDonald's. I mean, the food isn't even that good. Why the fuck do y'all keep going to McDonald's, man? Can somebody please tell me why you keep going to McDonald's? You know? And excuse me, guys. Let me get my daughter out this bathroom. She's doing little girl. Hold on 1 second. All right, man. And we know that that we all have a burger spot in our city that kills McDonald's. That shits on McDonald's. You know what I mean? I don't get it. But y'all keep going there though. 212 right now, Mickey D's. And I wouldn't dare short McDonald's because McDonald's just keeps fucking going and going and going and going. You know, that's a stock that you just don't mess with. Um, Walmart. And Walmart, I think that red line, like I said, I posted that red line a couple of weeks ago on a show a long time ago. I said that 121. I'd be very interested in Walmart above 121. That'd be quite a level. And now we're starting to see Walmart kind of level out there and show a little bit of resistance at those RSI levels up there. So we could see a Walmart cool off. But it'd be interesting to see Walmart above 121. Where this thing could be going. You know, my girl was asking me if I ever get bored at home, and the answer is really no. We had this, kind of sort of deep conversation last night about it. Like, do you want to go back to work? I'm like, what? Don't, hell no. You crazy? I wouldn't even know how to act in the office now. You know, I wouldn't even know how to act in the office now, man. I don't like showing up on time to things as it is. You know, Lockheed Martin 385 right now. I know I'm checking the weekly charts, but boy, that's really the way to get these high probability trades is to figure out what is going on the long term. What's going on, EBANR? And that's why I'm really hoping you guys get out of this trading course that I'm creating. That if you put together 3 or 4 high probability trades that can guarantee you a certain amount per month, and you do it for 6 months, after 6 months, I think I can get some of you guys to consider, particularly if you have a bullshit job, if you have a real bullshit job, to give it up. If I can get a couple people at like 5,000 a month, whether it be 2 trades that do 2,500 each, or 4 trades that do 990 or 900 each at 85-90% probability, right? I think I can convince a couple of y'all to be like, man, maybe this fucking FedEx office job ain't worth it no more. Or you keep using my system, and now you go to that bullshit job with a bigger smile on your face. Because it's easier to go to work. It's easier to go to work when you're trading well and you know your job is bullshit, but you're trading well. So you know your money is growing, and like the money that you're making on the job isn't necessarily going to waste. It's really hard to go to work when you're not trading well, and then the money you made that you're putting into your trading account, you're giving it away. That's when it's really hard to go to work. You know, in my opinion. Here, well, let's go to Facebook. Because you're like, fuck. I got paid. I put 500, 1,000 in the market, and I just gave it to the market. I've been there, man. Here's Facebook. Touching that 218, 160. They got a lot of support there. But Facebook just kind of hanging in there right now. So you missed the nightly shows? Yeah, I got to get back on the nightly, and I'll probably end up doing that next week. Probably end up doing that next week. You know. You said you would slap your manager even if she look at you funny. Man, I know toward the end there, about 2016-ish or so, early 2016-ish or so, I just started ending up in a bunch of call centers. I was fucking my manager, man. Real talk. Because if you ever worked at a call center before, most of them are young women. You know what I'm saying? And I was just smashing most of them, Because ain't nothing to smashing some of these chicks these days. They not asking for nothing anyway. I felt like, honestly, when it comes to the ladies, I was getting more women when I didn't have a car and I was staying with my moms and my parents, probably more than now. These women love a man they can take care of. Oh, now I scare women because everything I got going on. You know what I mean? It's scary to a lot of women what I got going on. They see the website, they see the YouTube, they see the videos everywhere. They're like, damn, you doing too much. Damn, I just feel like you just all over. Like, they're intimidated. Women get intimidated if you're really out here trying to make moves. But if you're a bummy dude, oh my God, they love you don't have anything going on. You're on nothing, got nothing but lint in your pockets. Your car is fucked up. And if she makes more money than you, they love that. They love that. They love it, bruh. I'm telling you, man, when I was just struggling, just out of school, struggling, no money, when I was in school, struggling, you get some of these older women, like, for example, when I was in like maybe early 20s, you get some of these women that are like 28, 29, been in the workforce a couple of years. They love a guy who's struggling. Because women, in the end of the day, they want to be, they like a man who needs them. Particularly a lot of these women that come from, single parent backgrounds. Sometimes, yeah, you got some like, man, I need somebody who can upgrade me type of chick. But for a lot of women, they come from homes where mom was the man of the house. So they look for situations where it's very similar to what they grew up with. If they had a guy around, he was pretty much just kind of like in-house dick, you know what I mean? He wasn't really making no boss moves like that. So yeah, when I was a bummy ass dude, I got a lot of play, man. I got a lot of play when I was a bummy dude, man. You know, and now it's like I'm not a millionaire, but I'm a lot better off than most of the women I meet. And now they want you to be on some kind of trick type shit. You know what I mean? Where okay, so what all right, what you gonna do for me? That's the thing. What you gonna do for me? Can we go shopping? Can we like okay, but I mean, if I was a bummy ass dude, they wouldn't even ask you about going shopping. Going shopping wouldn't even be something that would come out of their mouth. If I didn't have a car, you wouldn't ask me about going shopping. You wouldn't ask me for $100 to get your nails done or whatever. You wouldn't ask me none of that if I was a bummy ass dude. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm ranting. I'm just, going over some things here with you, passing the time where we try to find something going on here in the markets. But for the most part, it's been a really slow day, family. And some people wouldn't complain about that, right? I mean, these are the kind of days you want, honestly, as a non-directional trader. These kind of slow, methodical days that don't, where things aren't really happening. I just put on again my XLF trade that's perfectly not doing anything. Oh, absolutely. M1 Gunner. Shout out to M1 Gunner. He said they want to know what's their ROI now. Absolutely. Oh, man, these women, let me tell you something. They want to know what you do, how much you make, get a sense of how much you're worth. But don't you dare ask them what they bring to the table. Woo! Don't you dare ask any of these women. They don't have nothing. They don't have a pot to piss in for the most part. Besides, what because a lot of them just think the sex is enough. Like, hey, I got a vagina, I've got big ass tits. So, take it or leave it. But don't you dare ask me, about how much I make. They don't even want to tell you how much they make. Most of them don't even want to tell you what they even do for a living. They don't really even want to talk about like, what their career aspirations are. It's just basically like, hey, like, what are we gonna do? They're just kind of looking to you for everything. And shit's expensive out here. You know what I mean? Things are getting more and more expensive out here. Things are getting more expensive out here. It's not like back in the day where you can like, just have a chick slumming at your place. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you could do that stuff, but now it's like, hey, I need you to, can you at least take care of the water or something like that? Something. But you have a lot of women now who are trying to revert back to the whole like all traditionalism. I'm seeing a lot of videos like that coming back because that's kind of what happens when you get at the top of the economy. You have some women who start to struggle financially, and then it comes back to, well, what about traditional families? And you start to hear that conversation because a lot of women, when push comes to shove, it's like, all right, I need a guy to come take care of this. Because a lot of women aren't strong. There are a lot of strong women out there, but there are a lot of women who, when times get tough, when times really get hard, it's like, fuck. And for those of you guys who live or have access to the hood, you've seen it over the last year or two. You've seen it over the last year or two. And I made this on video on Instagram, like how back in the day, you can live in those kind of working class, poor black communities, $600 a month. Sometimes you might get lights included or some crap like that, or water included. and it was good. But now you can't find that. So what you're seeing is a lot of these women are now like, not leeching on guys, but they have a lot more men in their life than usual. I know somebody here knows what I'm talking about. Than usual. They're kind of hanging on to you a little bit longer. They're not as disrespectful as they used to be. You know, I feel like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, if you had done something dirty or something like that, you'd be like, man, fuck you. But now it's like, I hate it when you treat me like this. You know. But she ain't running away though. She's not running away. Because just in case something happens and she needs you to drop something in that Cash App. You know what I mean? She needs you to drop something in that Cash App. Yeah. There's none of that to the left anymore. Everything you own in the box to the left. You don't hear that shit no more. No more. You don't hear that type of music anymore. Now it's like, what can I get out of you? You know? What can I get out of you, man? J&J, Johnson and Johnson. Yeah, look, most of these stocks ain't doing shit, man. That's what I'm telling you guys. I need y'all to step out on faith and join me in these non-directional plays. Because I mean, you're in these directional calls and puts, and these markets aren't going anywhere, man. Your theta is just eating you alive, man. It's just eating you alive when the market's not doing anything like this. Guys who were in 300 SPY a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's just disastrous, man. It's just been nothing. But again, if you were in a iron condor between these ranges right here, it hasn't been too bad of a look for you. It hasn't been too bad of a look for you. But even better, the futures, which I teach in the course, which offers you some leverage. Appreciate you, Life for a Business. Saw you last night in the O'Shea chat room. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Johnson. O'Shea Vlogcast channel. He always wants me to go over there a lot more often. I showed up for him yesterday because it had been a minute. But I low-key be trolling over there because he'd be like, man, spice it up a little bit for us. So I just kind of go in there and get some people worked up. But real fun channel to be on. We said the new Ratchet anthem is That's My Type. Oh, yeah, of course, Felix. Like I said, man, that's the good, that's probably the only good thing about when you're at the top of a bull market is that, again, you have a portion of women who get pressed, because you got to understand that a lot of women work in the service industry. The overwhelming majority of women work in the service industry doing service level work. So in environments where housing is very expensive, food is getting more expensive, they become much more cooperative with the opposite sex. You're not going to find more cooperation from a woman than you are right now. When you're going to find right now. You you're not going to find more cooperation than right now. She's young, not much work experience, or has very poor work experience, or very little talent or skill. Oh man, she's looking for a man now more than ever. You can Google it. Housing instability to be the biggest problem for women over the next 10 years. It'll be housing instability. You're going to be millions of women who don't have places to live, or they're going to be staying with their folks for longer than usual. And that doesn't know what technology is going to do for women's jobs. Let me show you guys this article I looked up. Let me see here. Y'all think, a lot of women are playing around, man. A lot of women. Let me see if I can additional families like never before. I want to share this with you guys here real quick. But if you say automation could throw millions of women out of work, automation could force more than 100 million women around the world to find new occupations by 2030. This is around the corner. This is the next 10 years. This is the next 10 years. Because, a lot of men do jobs that we can't really, well, eventually we will, but now we can't really have machines do. But a lot of women do jobs that machines can eventually do and will be able to do very, very shortly. So where are these women going to go? They're going to rely on you as the man to provide. So we're going to see a swing back. We're going to see a swing back in traditional families again. You said you will find more if the market crashes. Well, yeah, the market is going to crash. And then, the market's going to crash because we have cycles. But when it does crash, what a lot of people don't understand is that it's not going to be like a rehiring thing again. The investment is going to go in technology so that they just don't have employees anymore to begin with. So you're not going to get fired and then, these women aren't going to be fired and then like rehired somewhere. No, you're going to get fired. And then they're going to create software to let's say, okay, we don't need employees anymore. That's how the recession is going to play out. And I truly believe we'll probably end up all going on some kind of universal basic income type shit, where we're going to pay a portion of our population a certain amount every month. And those of you guys who are creative and talented in different ways, you're going to be able to make some, money on the side. They're going to legalize prostitution because there are going to be millions of women who are going to demand that they find some other way to make money. So they'll legalize prostitution, and you'll have a generation of women who, like in Pakistan and some of these other poor countries, that kind of grow up and live in prostitution for the rest of their lives. See, I think a lot of people, you can't imagine America being a third world country. I don't understand why. When all the signs point to the fact that that's where we're going. Let me share the link with you guys so you can kind of watch that little clip on your own there. Women I see do customer service, data entry, billing. I work next to an AI company that makes software. Computer does all this. Absolutely. I don't say it to be disrespectful, but women are just going to end up back into those traditional roles again. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And a lot of women are going to love it. They're going to love just fuck it, I don't have to go to work anymore. I can stay at home, and you know, some women are going to love it, and you're gonna have some women who are just going to rage against the system. Rage against the machines. Uh, and what that leads to, I don't know, but I think, and what I'm not saying, total chaos. I'm just saying that you're just going to have these movements where you're going to have women who are just going to demand another way to kind of find a way to be a part of the economy somehow. For the last 20 years, there have been programs where women have tried to inspire other women to go into science and technology. And what you find is that, at early ages, women are very interested in it. And then towards sometimes middle school to high school, it's like, fuck it, I don't want to do that shit. They lose interest. And what feminists do is they blame it on society. They say society forces women, not to pursue that, which isn't true at all. I don't know a single man that forced any woman not to like science or math in school. Or look down on a girl who was good at science or math in school. It's kind of like back in the day when women used to talk about how men objectify women. You remember before social media, there was a big thing about how men objectify women. And then social media happened and we realized that women objectify themselves. And now nobody talks about that anymore. Nobody talks about male objectification of women. Because now you can pull up Instagram and I can see a woman busting her butt cheeks open for a like. She's not even making any money. She's not doing anything. She's just for free. And again, not meaning to rant on women, because I feel like I'm being very objective here. I'm not ranting, being very objective. Being very objective on this slow day where SPY is down 7 cents. So not much of a move today. And remember that website you shared years ago, Instagram models who got and get exposed? Yeah. God, what was it called again? Oh man, I forgot what was it called. Gosh, I forgot what it was called, man. Ebanar. Oh, it's off the tip of my tongue too. But there was another website that I just recently saw. I forgot it too, but it's another website that exposes how women, these Instagram models, how they look like before their surgeries. Tag the sponsor. Yeah, it was called Tag the Sponsor. There we go. Tag the Sponsor. And basically he's this guy who convinces women to, basically expose the fact that they're just hoeing on IG. Tag the Sponsor. They don't go as hard as they used to because they basically got a whole bunch of women got together and just started suing the crap out of them. Even though they were losing the lawsuits, it just got expensive to defend themselves over and over again. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's, it's social media and those conversations are not private. But I know to defend themselves was taking a toll on them. But Tag the Sponsor was the website. I think they still post too. Tag the Sponsor, yeah, they still post. Not as much as they used to, but they still post. But that website was exposing most of these women on Instagram, and it was embarrassing for a lot of women because they were showing how a lot of these women, one, sell their ass, but also two, We're allowing guys to shit on them, to turd on their chins. Like there's one black chick who was like having who was willing to let them turd on her chin. That was hilarious. And disturbing at the same time too, you know. Um, but you know, again, in this society, you'll have some women who will participate in, you know, decrepit activity to make a living. And I think in the coming recession, in the coming hard times, that population of women will grow. You're going to have millions of women out here doing some very, very disturbing things to make ends meet. And I don't think society is ready for that. I don't think society is ready for that. You know, I know many of us are already triggered when it comes to trans this and all of that, the alphabet squad, but it's nothing compared to what you're going to see when 25 million American women don't have any way to make an income. You ain't seen nothing yet, man. You said that's why they go to Dubai. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, man, them Arabs, them Muslim dudes, people who are highly religious like that, those are the people who have the worst, some of the worst, uh, you know, fantasies and fetishes. You know what I mean? You know, don't Allah Akbar me. I know you like to eat shit. I know you like to rub poo poo on women. You know, them dudes be having their wives, you know, all in you know, because you see them out in the malls, you know, having their women all dressed up, looking like they got a package bomb or some shit. But at home, they got her doing all kind of decrepit type shit. You know, out in public, we are a peaceful religion. We are always loving the people. Man, come on, man. You be rubbing doo doo on her at the house and shit. And you coming in front of me talking about, you know, you're peaceful and all that, man. You know you love that doo doo smell. You know. No, I'm not shaking your hand, Akbu Mahu Muhammad. You might have poo poo on it. Anyway, but I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for the coming challenges ahead. You know. A lot of people think it's going to be a dollar collapse. Dollar's not going to collapse. You know, don't let anybody fool you into thinking you got to go run around and go buy some gold coins and all of that. You ain't got to buy none of that foolishness, man. You ain't got to buy. You ain't got to do all that. If you get some gold contracts or you making money, if you got dollars, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Because everywhere else is worse off. You're always gonna be having somebody to buy that stuff. Always gonna be a buyer for dollars. So you just focus on stacking what little paper you got. You got to understand that the wealthy, the elite, most of their money isn't in pure cash. That's why a lot of people are so saying, well, the rich are going to be better off. No, not exactly. They're still going to hurt because most of their wealth is in this ambiguous valuation of paper, not in pure like dollars and cents. God, why is my girl calling me? I got two phones like a trap. Like I work in the trap and she's blowing up both of my damn phones. I'm going to call you back. I know you're probably watching. You see I went live. Money Green said the trend is weak. Absolutely, its trend is weak. Yeah, if we're talking about stocks in general, if that's what you're talking about. But I'm short financials right now because I'm thinking that's where the drop is going to be over the next 2.5 weeks. Oh yes, appreciate you, Ibanar. No, thank you guys for watching for as many years as you have, man. I know I need to be a little bit more consistent, but life has gotten a little got a little heavy there for a minute. But we back, and like I said, with the release of this course, is going to definitely push me to come out here a little harder than usual. So definitely look out for more content. And I think this time too, I'll have the freedom of being myself again, because for a while there, it felt like I couldn't say the shit I wanted to say for a minute, man. You know that Apple 215 trade worked out great. Yeah, it really did, man. It really did. Uh, that Apple trade worked out real good. I saw you and you talked about that. Ryan gets it. You going long there, and look at that beautiful gap up here. I remember you bringing that up. And again, shout out to you for that. Daily shows Bears in control. Oh yeah. The daily does definitely show that, but the only reason we went bear to red to green was Apple. Like Ryan Gitz just came in the chat room talking about Apple. That's literally what lifted everything else higher. If we already know, Apple almost 4% of the SPY. That's a huge part. That's a couple hundred billion right there, or excuse me, a couple hundred million. Actually, I think I was right. It actually is a couple billion because the SPY is a very large ETF. I don't know, 4% of whatever how big the SPY is. That's a lot of Apple. Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, going back to what I was saying, I just wanted to be one of those YouTubers that where is actually is gonna make people some money. Because there are a lot of YouTubers putting out a lot of shit that can take a lot of your time. But I'm like, man, I need y'all to start feeding me something that's gonna make me some paper, man. You know what I mean? Because we all follow those people on YouTube that are kind of bullshitting with information you really don't need. I mean, you're just kind of entertaining yourself. But I think there's a certain sometimes it's just that certain time where you're just like, okay, I need something that's gonna kind of build me up a little bit. Germany, somebody brought up Germany. Um, Germany basically in recession right now. Data just continues to get worse and worse for Germany. And what I like about what the German leader is doing is she's not running to cut rates. She's just letting the economy go. Like, and that's how you're supposed to do it. You're not supposed to run out there and just like start printing out cheap money. She's just basically like, hey, we're in a recession. We're gonna work it out. I love it, man. I love it. She's like, hey, no, we're not going Angela Merkel. We're not going to create any more debt. We're not going to go out and just buy out a bunch of losing, positions to save you millionaires and billionaires. We're just going to let y'all lose. And a lot of people over here are going crazy that she's letting that happen. But that's how you're supposed to let it happen. It's called a business cycle, It's called a business cycle. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how business cycles work. You say that's why you don't mess with O'Shea's channel. Yeah, I mean, I love O'Shea. I love O'Shea's channel. But at the end of the day, you got to get back to business sometimes. But O'Shea is smart because at the end of the day, he's working on becoming a doctor. But he knows that you got a lot of guys out here who are just willing to shoot the shit and waste time. So he is doing a little bit of arbitrage by feeding you, you know, stuff that he kind of knows low key is bullshit, and then he's building up himself by being a doctor, and then working himself through medical school, then building the Kanganda thing he's doing in Uganda. So he's doing a couple other things, and I'm talking about a YouTuber, by the way. He's doing some things in the background by giving them, people who want to waste their time what they want. Because you're always going to have guys who are bums too. I mean, you got some guys who want to be bums, man. Because I said earlier, there are always women who are more than happy to take care of bums. You know. Let's see what else is going on here. But yeah, shout out for bringing that tag to sponsor. It's been a minute since I've looked at that tag to sponsor page. I see a couple new stories that I'm going to be entertained to read here in a second. What's he doing in Uganda? He's got this little production company where he's like just helping some upcoming like video artists and basically building up their little media thing out there. Third world media is like it's basically where we were with social media in like 2007. So if you go to some of these African countries, they're way back behind. So he's providing technology that's advanced in what they have, and just kind of giving them a platform to be able to generate content, and then he's making the ad revenue on the back end. So it's a smart idea. It's a good investment. I hope it pays out. But the problem again with investing in developing nations, it's so easy to put money in, but it's so hard to get them dollars out, man. When it comes time to walking away and trying to get out profit, and once you turn that money around into a dollar sense, then it's just like it's hard. He said loss was 72 on the MU trade. Well, Jason, what were you trying to do on MU? What were you trying to do on MU? MU now at 44.47. Let me see here. I said didn't understand interactive brokers. Who are you using right now, Jason? I mean, I'm looking at it. Why not? For example, if you look at those October 25th, well, you're out the trade now, but if you look at October 25th, which is 18 days from now, for $390, and obviously you can buy a lot more, but for $390 with a $120 profit or max profit, they're offering you an iron condor between 40 and 50. Between 40 and 50. You risk 390 to make 120. Obviously, like I said, you can go a little bit higher, but that's at 10 contracts on each side. You know, and that right there is a 77 probability of success. Um, I want 15 days. Let's see. Obviously, like I said, you can 10x that and make that 3 for 1. And you might even move that 50 down and then add another dollar at the bottom, but I'd probably do it this way just because I think this could go higher. Oh, lost connection, October 18th. Expiring 100 strike put. 1030. Oh man, you guys be going short. 1030. That's not actually not too bad. That's not too bad. $100 strike put. Yeah, I mean that's a big gamble. I mean that's a lottery ticket play, Ryan. That's really much a lottery ticket play there. I mean you're basically saying you're expecting a big drop in Apple coming soon. My Iron Condor is doing very well. I have an Iron Condor for the 20 that's ending October the 21st. And I have 3045. This is for SPX. And I'll mark it for you guys. I'm at 3025. 3025. And then I have it at, my bottom is at 2820. 2820. I'm at 2820. And I took in $2,500 in credit. And I'm just looking for half of that. And it expires on the 21st, but I'm only looking for another 9 days to get 50%. About to call back in July or August, so it had 90 plus days to expiration. Okay, that's what's up, Jason. Yeah. XLF is my newest trade right now, XLF. I'm thinking that 28 is still a very nice wall that will be nicely under by December, by the end of December. EA. Ryan gets it. Yeah, of course we do E-mini futures. Absolutely. It's one of the things that I'm teaching in the course right now. But E-mini futures options, yes. Love E-mini futures options, preferably ES or GC for gold. Also playing crude as well, CL, because playing E-mini futures options, particularly crude, is another way to hedge a sideways market by playing crude $10 wide between, we're 54 right now, so 44 and 64. That's a great way to do it. Another way, so yeah, it's a lot of little things that I've put in the course that I've learned over the course of last 3 months. Yes, absolutely. ES is the best. I love the leverage. Love the leverage on the E minis. Love, love, love the leverage. The high probabilities. Love them. 90 days, 120 days. Going far out, man. Love them. Now, there's a lot of those things sometimes, man. It's hard to get guys to get put on there, Ryan. It's hard to get guys to put on because a lot of guys, when they get comfortable doing something, even if it's losing, they'll keep doing it. Even if what they're doing isn't working. It's like, for example, I lost a lot of people when I decided to move into options. And I'm looking at guys who are getting killed on penny stocks. There's no volume. Stocks that are up one day, down. And I'm like, dude, come to options. Like, there's more consistency, more liquidity. There's actually, like, you can do some real trade, and they will continue to trade penny stocks. Even I know he's not making any money, he'll keep doing it. It's just like, and you just can't get through to some people, man. If I started making penny stock videos again, hell yeah, I mean, everybody would love it. A lot of people would love it again. But that's god damn, it was horrible watching people lose thousands of dollars week after week or over a period of time, not make any money. I said, what's the average gain I look for in a week over a month? Well, in a non-directional trade, Jim, yeah, about 2 to 5 or 2 to 8. I always give myself, but now I'm taking like, I'm always going to be a little bit, higher. I'm always going to give myself like 10, because I'm not getting any trade with a probability lower than 75%. If I don't have a 75% probability of winning that trade, I'm not taking that trade. But yeah, absolutely, Jim. When I make a non-directional trade, for example, like say the one we just kind of saying that the market could go that high or could go that low. Do you cover E-mini futures in your upcoming course? Absolutely. It's probably the backbone. It's actually where I'm driving people to. The E-mini courses. It's the E-mini, because I believe that there's more upside there than there is anywhere else right now. Is specializing in E-mini S&P, gold, silver, crude, and RUT too. I mean, the Russell is pretty lucrative too. But I think just the futures just offers so much upside, particularly when you can do futures options. And doing futures options with no PDT rule, 10-for-1 leverage. I mean, you can literally trade with like 400 bucks, literally $400 positions, even less. I mean, I had a class. I had mentioned, I don't know if you guys were in here, but I mentioned I had a class for this church where we had guys in there who took their first ES trade with like $121 positions, iron condor positions, making, obviously $120 position, you're only making like $30, $40 over the course of, 3.5 or something. But I mean, for a guy who's coming out of prison who doesn't have any money, it's just, his, it just blows his mind like, oh my God, okay, now if I save money and grow my account, this is what I can do. So going, let's say, from him to someone like you who may have several thousands of dollars, not that you would put all that money on the trade, but just even with a couple thousand, the ability that you have to do, it's absolutely a life changer. Absolutely, Ozu. So you want to be learning about futures and mini futures? Yeah. Mini futures is definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go. No PDT. And I really got up on it when it was a couple months ago and all that shit was happening at night and we couldn't do anything about it. And then Trump was tweeting like crazy and the market's going down and we're making money on puts. But then I'm seeing the guys who are in the ES mini futures making 10 times what we were making on similar investment capital. It's like, what the hell are we doing? And futures was intimidating at the beginning because the ticker symbols looked weird and the numbers were a lot larger. But then when I started learning, I'm like, oh, it's basically the same shit. It's really just the same shit. In fact, it's more liquid. The spreads are like a penny. And then there's E-mini futures options. So they trade just like options anywhere else. But again, no PDT rule. And you can borrow a shitload of capital. And if you play them non-directionally, it's like a fixed income trade. It's a fixed income trade. And that makes the whole trade cheaper. For example, if you just buy one E-mini futures option, that's going to cost you a while. But if you sell one against it, then it chops the price down to pennies. But again, I get into all that in the course that's going to be out, God willing, this Friday. I got a guy on Fiverr who's working on the presentation of the actual page that will be set up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to end up, I know y'all hate the gurus, but man, that's the shit y'all on. So I'm gonna have to join the trend. I fought against the trend for a long time, but I'm not gonna push my shit like they do. I mean, I'm just really on some like, hey, you wanna generate a respectable retirement, you wanna be able to buy a home, you want to be able to do some things for yourself and your family, come learn. Not on some like, hey, I made $100,000 in 5 hours type shit, because we've now learned that so many of those guys were paper trading, man. We just now learned so many of those guys were paper trading the whole time. I was shocked. So we don't really have a black one, so you're good. Oh man. Yeah, I guess it'll be unique. I guess it'll be unique. It'll be unique. That's hilarious. That's funny, Jim. No, but he's right though. He's absolutely right. He makes sense. I have a path. That's my path to profitability. Jim makes perfect sense. There's my path to profitability. You know, there may be an audience that's hungry to see a brother teaching stocks and futures and options.
All right.
Let me see, this guy's on pot. He's live. So, god damn, man, I didn't think the market would be this boring when I came live. I thought we'd be making some moves, but we're not making any real moves right now. Boy, China's not playing around with the Houston Rockets, man. China is not playing around with the Houston Rockets. Do you guys know about the Rockets? The Houston Rockets GM, general manager, he tweeted some pro Hong Kong sentiment. He tweeted some Hong Kong sentiment, and Houston has a huge Asian community, particularly Chinese and Vietnamese. And that was not a good look for them. And now China is cutting ties with the Houston Rockets, and you know there are billions of dollars at stake here. He's probably going to end up getting fired. The GM. He'll probably end up getting fired. But you don't fuck with China, man. You don't fuck with the NBA and China and that money. Somebody saying the SPY is dropping. Let's take a look at it here. Okay. It's a little bit. All right, obviously, yeah, for you, them short-term traders, they're loving every minute of this. We lose the 10 already, yeah. All right, so we're already below the 10 moving average here on the 5 minute in the SPY. Yeah, I don't like the 1 minute, but just for shits and giggles. But yeah, it's going down a little bit here. No, nothing much here in the grand scheme of things. More than likely about this weekend. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna try to have it out on Saturday. I'm gonna try to have it out on Saturday, and I'm aiming for a good 100, man, because I know motherfuckers don't. If you put it at $25, and what the fuck is this? You know, if you put it at something ridiculous like some of these other clowns at $4.99, then you overprice yourself. So I figured 100 would be just fine. You know. That I mean, if you ain't got $100, man, I mean, this is probably ain't the game for you anyway. So, and now that there are no commissions, I mean, there's really no excuse out here. Guys should be investing in their education anyway. If it's not with me, then it's with somebody else. So it's a great opportunity now to look at maybe some services. If you're not with TradingView, you should be, maybe going and getting yourself a pro TradingView account. Well, that's like $30 a month. You should be, trying to look for some other services to kind of up your trading game. Well, basically, Jim, I'm taking everybody into my simple trading method. My simple trading method. I don't want to give too much here, but I'm basically walking you through how to set up trades that are, again, 75% probability of success or higher, using three strategies, which are bear puts, bear calls, bull puts, and iron condors. E-Trade is zero commission, 65 cents. You see, I hate how they have that 65 cent per contract bullshit there. That's pretty annoying. But at least they got rid of that little, what was it, $4.99 for a while, or $6.99 or whatever it was. At least they got rid of that. At least they got rid of that. So it's something. It's something. I appreciate it. Ryan gets it, and it's got a built-in affiliate program too. So, uh, at $100, if you give somebody the link and they buy the course, then you make 50, and I make 50. So it's got a built-in affiliate program as well, and that 50 will pay out. I believe it's monthly. So if 5 people buy using your link, then that's $250 a month for you. Which one is better, E-Trade or TD Ameritrade? Either one, man. Either one of those are really good services. Either one of those are really good services. They both have real good phone service. They both have really good platforms. I'm maybe a little bit biased to TD, but they're both, yeah, Money Green is right. They're both really good, man. Me, I'm all about making sure that I can pick up the phone and speak to somebody, because in trading, you will have that moment where you need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody about your money. And you need a brokerage house that's going to pick up that phone. And a lot of these guys who were on SureTrader a couple of days ago learned a painful lesson, right? SureTrader got shut down by the nation of Bahamas for like 10 days. They couldn't do shit. They couldn't trade. SureTrader wasn't sending their money out. They were stuck. That's why I don't fuck with them offshore brokers at all. I don't care, CFD or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't fuck with them. Period. I need you to be in America. I need to be able to call you. Sometimes I have a trade idea. I want you to be able to talk to me about it. Even though they'll have those services, but they don't really give you like sometimes you want like, hey, should I take this trade? And they're never definite about it. It's all like, hey, I think it'll be a good idea. They use their language real carefully in those scenarios. But it's always good to kind of bounce trades off their minds, though. Yeah, Money Green. I don't do none of that offshore stuff, man. I don't do none of that offshore. Nothing. You're offshore because you can't afford to be in America. That's why you're offshore. You can't afford to do it here. You ain't got the money to do it here. And if you ain't got the money to protect my money, I can't fuck with you. Any one of them is better than Robinhood. Oh yeah. Robinhood is not for. You got some guys who saying they're making money on Robinhood, but man, I just, when you don't have, decent graphs, or, your entries or exits aren't, flawless. The execution on the exits and the entries and exits are a bit flawed for me when it comes to Robinhood. I don't know how you can take that seriously. But Robinhood, I mean, look, if you want to do some of the stuff that I'm doing, which is non-directional trade on Robinhood, it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad to do. But you guys who are saying they're day trading on Robinhood, and I don't know if I can believe you on that one, because some of them entry prices that I'm seeing guys are getting on Robinhood are horrible. But for some guys, they're saying it works. Hey, but so to each his own. To each his own. Do you think there will be a bank run in the recession? No. No. I think we're a digital economy, and I think we're going to continue to be a digital economy. And I think there's more than enough cash out here for everybody. What I think is the only thing is going to be is just a massive adjustment to valuation. But I don't think you're gonna have millions of Americans out here with no money. I don't think that. I use Tasty Trade. I use Tasty Trade, Tasty Works to trade futures. I use Tasty Works because they're even beating interactive brokers right now in terms of cost, because there's like a $2 charge on the closing side of the trade. But Tasty Works right now. But if IB goes to free everything on futures as well, particularly E-mini futures, then hell yeah, I'll do everything at IB. But right now, Tasty Works is where I'm at. But yeah, Felix, going back to what Felix was saying, nah, man, I don't it's not gonna get. We're not the type of country where, motherfuckers can just shut down and leave you with no money or anything like that. If we lived in something like Venezuela or some crap like that, then yeah, I mean that's always at risk, right? When you live in a country like that, but that doesn't happen in America. That doesn't happen in America. Never say never, but I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't believe that. Because if you remember, what happened in 2008 is that these banks had went out of business, but at the end of the day, they all had assets that were so valuable, other banks bought them out. Other banks that were like, oh shit, that bank's going out of business? Okay, I'm going to buy that one. Remember Bank One? And some of these other banks out here, they went out on a shopping spree, man. So in the United States of America, when you have banks that fail, you have other banks that look at what they own, and they see all those properties, they see small business accounts, they see all that, and those are lucrative. Those are very lucrative. And you have other banks that will step in to take ownership of those assets. But again, like I was saying, if we lived in a third world country, then yes, that would be a significant risk, because you don't have other financial institutions that will step in and buy those properties, buy those assets. Felix, you're never supposed to hold it to that point, Felix. When a contract expires, you're never supposed to hold it to it, because nobody's going to buy that trade. When a contract is a penny, you can keep it available out there to sell. Who's going to buy that? The only option contract that you allow to expire worthless and you hold on to until it's literally worth nothing is an index option. So XPX or SPX, RUT, and I think there's another one. Is it SPX, RUT? I think there's one for the Qs too. I can't remember what that one is. Is it N? I forgot what it's called. But whatever that index is for QQQ. I know somebody in could tell me. But these are SPX, RUT. These are indexes that expire into cash. Right? So you can let them expire, and then the next day they'll literally turn into cash into your trading account if they expire in the money, right, with profit. But a regular stock option, you never want to have that expired to 1 cent, because you'll be either they can force you to deliver, or you sell that before it's like a nickel or a dime or something like that, right? Because when you sell that option, you took in credit, whether it be 30 cents or a dollar or 80 cents or nine, whatever that is. You sell it to near expiration. You don't sell it to literally worthless. Yeah. Yeah. So when you see a max profit, the only time you're going to get that full max is particularly if you're on an index option, because you can let it expire to worthless. But if you're talking about a stock and they're saying, hey, you're going to make 1,500 in this trade, don't expect to get the whole 1,000. You're going to sell it with maybe just about 10% left on there, and you're going to dump it because there's no risk reward to wait for the last 10%. Because you're going to end up in that situation, Felix, where you can't sell it, and now you can't get your cash out, and it becomes a very frustrating situation for you. You get what I'm saying, Felix? Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay, spy getting a little aggressive to the downside a little bit. All right. We had a sell off and then they tried to bounce, and well, that bounce might hold here. I thought it was about to turn around. So as it's green, get out. Not as it's green, but as the trade matures. For example, if your max profit is $500, right, and you're at $250 of max, you're at 50% of max, or even 65%. What is it worth for you to wait for the last, 30 or 40%? Just go ahead and close the trade and go into a new one. Because what you risk is now that you're at, let's say, you're now at $490. Now, who's going to buy that worthless option? Who's going to buy that worthless option? Absolutely, just like M1 Gunner said, set a target. Set a target. For example, me, I like 50% of max profit. So I'm going in there with the trade and then boom, with an amount saying I want to sell at 50%. Some of the trade, I don't even see 25% profit because you're probably not trading the way you need to be, Felix. And that's when I think you're going to be really helped by the information I'm going to provide in that course. You're probably not trading the way you need to be. Do I mess with weed stocks? Nah, man. I was really looking forward to. I thought that weed would get off Schedule 2, and banks would be able to finally lend capital to those companies. But until marijuana gets off that Schedule 2 list, man, them stocks ain't gonna be doing shit, man. Because these companies, they need capital, and the way they, right now they're getting very expensive capital from these alternative financing companies. And as long as marijuana is considered a Schedule 2 stimulant, they can't go to Citigroup. They can't go to the financial institutions where they can get cheap money to grow. You know what I mean? So it just don't even make sense to be in those stocks right now. That's why they're so all over the place. For a while they were winners, and then they were losers, and then winners, and it's just the federal laws are still, not where they need to be. It makes a very frustrating experience to trade weed stocks. So I'd rather just be somewhere else making money until that figures itself out. Because right now, the gist about weed is they're trying to figure out how do we keep the prison system alive and at the same time make this money on weed. See, they can't figure that out. They can't figure it out. Let's see here. Here's the SPY. It looks like rejecting the 10 moving average, but it's just coming. It's trying to bounce up above that. As you know, the 10 moving average is a short-term moving average that really lets us know that we got some velocity behind these moves. And so far, having a tough day getting over it. Weekly is still above it. Let me see the monthly. Monthly still hanging on top. So, for all intents and purposes, the market is still bullish as long as it's above that. And I teach that in the course as well. That as long as your stock is above the 10-month moving average, consider that stock to be long. Now it's up to you to kind of do a little bit of more research to devise whether or not it's got velocity to go significantly higher or just, a couple dollars. But a stock that's above the 10-month moving 10-month moving average is going up. It's going up for the most part. Oh, damn. All right, I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach. I have not ate today. God damn. But I've been on this meat-free diet, though, for the last 30. I'm at day 33 now. Meat-free. I've not eaten any beef. I've not eaten any chicken. All I've eaten is fish. Yeah, all I've eaten is fish. Fish and vegetables, rice. And I'm pretty much staying dairy-free as well, too. Obviously, dairy is almost in everything, but I have not eaten any meat products. But I got to figure out another way to get my protein, though, because right now I've been getting my protein through a shake, but I got to find another way and the fish. But there's got to be another way to get protein. Yeah, vegan is definitely. I feel so much better now that I've gone meat free. Man, I don't feel like tired when I wake up in the morning anymore. I don't feel like sluggish like I used to. I got so much energy even during sex. My cock is hard as fuck now, man. Super hard, dude. Like fucking like, and I've talked about this like middle school hard, you know what I mean? When this shit used to fucking hurt when you got hard. You know what I'm saying? So going meat free has really, really helped out. My energy's way up. Said too much. I'm just being honest. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking to mostly guys in here. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about, man. When I say, hey, when you lay off the heavy meats, man, dude, I'm giving my woman the business, bro. I'm giving my woman the business. Putting her ass to sleep. What's that guy on YouTube? We putting these hoes to sleep, man. I forgot his name, but he's got a channel where he's just giving advice on guys putting hoes to sleep. I forgot his name. I don't really watch that stuff, but I know a lot of guys do need his advice. But yeah, man. So going that it's hard for a lot of guys, but it's been really really good to go vegan free. I mean to go meat free. It was hard at the beginning, like the first week was hard as hell, man, because I usually got to get my Wendy's triple or my Wendy's double, but now but yeah, alpha male strategy. There we go, alpha male strategy. He's hilarious. We fucking these hoes to sleep, dog. Oh man, shout out to alpha male strategy, man. He got a good hustle going right there, man. Got a good hustle going. Nuts, almonds, walnuts. Okay, yeah, yeah. Beans, yeah, okay. Yeah, I've been going with the vegetable and bean blends and all of that stuff, and it's been real, real helpful, man. My rice, I like the brown rice. Brown rice is good, but I fall in love with just jasmine. Jasmine rice is really good, so I like jasmine rice a lot. Yeah, when it comes to fish, it's been mostly like sardines and uh, sardines and gosh, what salmon. Been eating some good salmon. Somebody says broccoli helps with sex drive. Yeah, yeah. Just eating clean in general helps with sex drive, man. Just eating clean in general, you know. TMI here, but even my loads are huge, man. Even my loads are huge. But yeah, fish in itself has its own issues. You know, fish in itself has its own issues. Because we don't know where the fish. Sometimes we got these little Chinese fish and all that stuff like that, farm raised, and so there are issues there as well. But for the most part, it's a okay. It's a okay. Because again, guys, we're watching the market continue to go sideways. It was down, now it's up. You know, so we're watching the market do its thing. Again, when you're non-direction, look at this little fake ass spike out of nowhere. Look at this shit. This is why I don't see how you guys can day trade. This stuff was driving me crazy when I was day trading. We watched the market go down for the last like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it just spiked out of nowhere. Now imagine you're somebody who's trying to day trade, trying to day trade the markets, and that happens to you. You know, you're down now 70 cents in literally 3 minutes, and because you play this week's expirations, you're down really big based on that move because the volatility is humongous and an option expiring within the week. So you just got your ass killed on that move if you were playing the short. That's why it's so important to go out because you just don't know what they're going to do to you. Look at this. This is just ridiculous. This is crazy. You don't know where it's coming from or what. Get the fish that is not popular. Most likely they are not farm raised. Oh, okay, Felix. You mean like the brands that aren't popular? Get the brands that aren't popular that are on the shelf that don't really move like that? Is that what you're talking about? S&P 500. Look at that. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. We literally went from red to green in 3 minutes. 4 minutes. Oh no, the fish type salmon. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I love salmon. I love the way salmon taste. I love, I just love. I love sardines. Oh my God, I love sardines. Particularly the boneless ones. I like, particularly the boneless ones because the boneless, all they are basically just steamed so hot that the bones inside of them basically go to nothing. They steam them so hot that the bones, you know, lose their stiffness. So I love sardines, man. I eat sardines like crazy. I can go through in a week maybe like 5 cans of sardines. Love sardines with my salads or with my rice and stuff like that. Wild caught fish, okay. Yeah, yeah. It's been a minute since I've gone fishing myself. I mean, I never ate the fish I caught, but I would love to go down south, down to Louisiana, maybe sometime next year, and go fishing for catfish and actually eat a fish that I catch. That would be real cool to do. That'd be real cool to do. And I always admire men who can like catch fish and skin it and eat it. I've always admired that. You said you're liking herrings lately. Okay, I gotta try that. I don't think I've actually ate any of those. If I have, I didn't know it. Yeah, the market just spiked on you. We went from 290. We went from 293.90 to 295. That's crazy. I mean, you're a put buyer. You got eviscerated there. It said Apple dropped news that might. Well, okay, well, go figure. Go figure, man. There's Apple for you again. Apple moving the markets. When you look at the markets over the last 10 years, it's only like 15 stocks that have driven us over here. That's a whole nother conversation. Farm raised fishes are not good. Oh, I believe it, Felix. I absolutely believe it. I mean, just as I stopped eating meat because, I started watching some of that, meat your meat videos where they're abusing these chickens and these cows and these pigs, how they've got pus growing out of them. There's a organization here in North Carolina where they will take you to some of these farms and show you how they're um, being managed and stuff, and how you can see the filth that these chickens live in. I mean, these chickens live in filth. The way they kill these cows, they don't even kill them right. They just kind of and then somebody's got a video. His name is Dr. Layla Africa, and he was talking about how the pain goes through these animals, and this dead flesh, this dead meat, how it affects the human body, and how it does so much damage, you know, in association with a lot of the chemicals that they already put into the meat, and how that affects your body as it goes through the digestive stream, and how when that chemical breaks down that's already in the meat for the cow or the chicken or whatever it is, how when it goes through your digestive system, it creates all kinds of just disaster in there, man. you know and that's why we see levels of cancer here in America that you don't see in some of these poor third world countries, because they don't have agricultural farm systems like we have, that have put all that kind of poison in their foods. I forgot. And there's also a study on that too, where they looked at Latinos in America and how Latinos in Mexico or in some of these other Spanish speaking nations, how their diets are very similar, but you see incredible rates of cancer in US based Hispanics that you don't see in these other Spanish speaking countries. You just don't see that, and it's completely different farm raised animals. And there's no point, nowhere else to point to. you know, and then also levels of weight as well too. You know, you don't see obesity in those countries like you may see among groups here in the states. Yeah, they said animals aren't given steroids. Yeah, yeah, because in those countries you have small subsistence farmers, whereas in America you have just a few thousand that are on these huge industrial farms. It's crazy, man. Apple is the next Amazon. Government is strongly supporting Apple. Well, here's the thing. What I mean, when you say Apple's the next Amazon, what do you mean? Like you mean Apple's going to be going into some of the stuff that Amazon is, or you? Because both of them are basically up there in terms of market cap, right? Both of them are pretty much up there when it comes to market cap. And speaking of all this food, I need to get myself something to eat, man. I'm gonna get myself something to eat. I've been with y'all for a minute now, and again, I thought this market would be moving a lot more aggressively than it is, but I see it has not, and I'm not complaining about it because my positions are maturing nicely. Positions are maturing nicely, and it's always good to start off a position with a nice little move. Even XLF moving. That's crazy. And that don't have not a goddamn thing to do with Apple. Not a goddamn thing. See, Amazon has a lot of debt. Yeah, Amazon is not profitable. But their market, they're growing so fast, everybody thinks they'll be profitable eventually. That's the theory, but Amazon is not a profitable business. A lot of people don't realize that. But they're not profitable. Apple makes more profit. Oh, absolutely. Apple's been making billions for a while. But like so many companies, Apple started off in the red too. So, but great products worked out for them. Yes, indeed. So let me get up out of here, guys. I really hope you're enjoying your day. If you're at work or whatever it is you're doing, shout out to all of you. Shout out to a brother who was an insurance adjuster. Told me he watches my stuff when he's at work. Shout out to all the dudes who are out there working, doing your little 9 to 5, making money, and also doing what it takes to make sure you build yourself a respectable retirement or planning ahead to be able to afford a nice vacation or whatever it is you're looking to buy with the wealth that I hope you're building using the stock market, because the stock market is and will always be a wealth builder if you are patient and willing to ride the trends. Nothing's created more wealth for the average American than the stock market outside of a home. All right. What's going on? Your thoughts on zero commissions? I talked about that earlier, man. I think it's great, man. It's great. It's great for the market. But if they're not going to get rid of the PDT rule with that, then I mean, what it is what it is. But it's a nice little slick move. It's a nice little slick move that, again, they've been able to make money, find a way to make money by selling your positions to algo houses. So it's a great move. It's a great move. All right, guys. Well, I'll be seeing you guys in a bit, because I'm going to post up a video about a position in ES. This is going to be a position that I think is going to go out till December. I'm still trying to make up my mind on it, but I'll post it up, see what you guys think. Of course, I'll put a blog post on it and stuff like that, but I'll have it out tonight, and I'm sure I'll have some guys who are going to give me their point of view on the trade. But as always, it's going to be nice and wide, and it's going to give you an opportunity to make money while we enjoy this massive amount of volatility that I think is going to be coming over the next 30, 60, 90 days. So I appreciate all of you guys. No, thank you, Dane. Thank you. M1 Gunner, Felix, Sapini, all the people who were in here earlier. I appreciate all of you guys. Who else was in here? Ken, appreciate you, Ken. Thank you so much for joining me, man. I know they got some people who just kind of sit back and relax and enjoy the show. I appreciate all of you guys. I'll be back in the evenings more than likely next week, because I know most of the guys join in the evenings. I like to kind of get it out the way early so I can spend the rest of the day working on the course. Anything else that I hadn't wanted to get off my chest? No, that's it, man. Just can continue to trade. The market is, for the most part, I think going to be sliding sideways for the most part here, unless the China data news continues to become a problem. We got ourselves in a hole, man. Whatever decision the president makes, we all got to ride with it. And we're in a hole now, so we're going to see how it's going to affect us over the course of the rest of the year. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Smith, thank you. All the people who are in the chat room and watching in the future, I appreciate all of you. And please hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. Check out my website, thetraderslibrary.com, where I sell some really good out-of-print trading books that you might find helpful. And of course, my sponsor, blackboxstocks.us. Appreciate you. Until next time, take care, trade well.